Hello and welcome to Just Africa, where we deep dive into trends shaping our world. Today we ask a fundamental question. Is democracy truly a gift, or is it a hard-fought right paid in blood, sacrifice, and persistent struggle? Now, in Africa, where colonial legacies, military regimes, and socio-economic struggles have tested the democratic experiment, countries like Nigeria, South Africa, and Ghana stand as testament to the long journey from resistant to resilient. Our focus today is resistant to resilient, celebrating democratic gains in Nigeria, South Africa, and Ghana. I am Olumide Shokoya, and also I have Moyo Adebi. How you doing?
I'm good, Olumide. Thank you for having me this morning.
Yes. So we're discussing democracy.
Yeah.
Last week we celebrated Democracy Day. President Tinubu gave a speech. Well, people have their opinion
Everybody has their opinion
about
on what that
maybe
was.
they weren't the speech was not what they were expecting.
The content of the speech didn't cover the
speech.
scope of what they expected.
Yes.
But you know, it's I would say it's a political process here. It's things that dominate our polity in these parts. Some of them we can criticize, we can say that this doesn't exactly reflect the true scope of what we should be talking about as it relates to the masses. But, you know, that's, again, we're still shaping our democracy here in Nigeria, you know. I listened to, you know, when you mentioned the title of the topic, you know, was it a gift or was it something that was hard fought? It was something that was hard fought,
yes. And
we're still fighting for it. When you look at Ghana, you think of the June 4, 1979 revolution with Jerry Rawlings. You think of
yes. Quite a sad one.
Yeah, you think of the Soweto uprising in 1970 in South Africa, and even for us, you know, we have the June 12, 1993, and a dozen of coups that has happened. It's all seems to be a part of the transition from, you know, the pre-colonial arrangement to the democracy that we were supposed to have had.
Yes.
But because it's a growing, we're still growing in democracy. It almost feels like a relic of colonialism that we were left behind with. So there's so many things that we still have to, you know, get around, you know, if we're going to say that we have a true, you know, democracy here in these parts, Nigeria. Ghana seems to be doing very well. They do seem to be doing very well, if I say so myself. You know, some people will say that Ghana has the most stable democracy in Africa. But at the end of the day, we're all still growing, and I think that while we look at the gains, you know, for us in Nigeria now, uninterrupted democracy for 25 years, which is something to be proud of, because we know what came with the coups, bloodshed on you know, a lot of things that were negative came with them. But we do have a lot of growing to do, especially when it comes to voter apathy and, you know, not having trust, the people not having full trust in the government. So there's so many things that we still have to do to grow. But so far, so good, you know.
Also, I would like to ask, do you think where we are now with democracy, do you think the international community finally found a way to, you know, want to do business here? Do you think democracy has also helped in shaping how international communities have done business with us?
I think, again, to a certain degree, and I don't like to be, you know, somebody who just, I'm not trying to stir the pot or anything, but I do think that, you know, democracy and how it reflects upon us here, it seems to be sort of like designed by the international community. So again, we don't know if it truly serves us, if this style of democracy, well, for me, I'd say, I don't know if it truly serves us, and if we have to reimagine democracy within the context of, you know, our African heritage and how it is that we communed, you know.
Well, according to former President Olusegun Obasanjo, he said we need to fashion out our own perfect democracy and let it work for us. We have our guest on standby. He is quite wholesome. He is an entrepreneur, a marketing consultant, a business coach, a digital technology expert, and of course, a real estate developer. He is Dr. Hilary Aqua. So glad to have you this morning on Just Africa.
Thank you so much for having me. I want to appreciate you guys. You're doing very well. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, let's get right into it. Democracy promises transparency, accountability, and rule of law. Now, the same pillars needed in thriving markets. Ghana is now often cited as the West African economic success story. Nigeria, of course, despite the challenges, remains Africa's largest economy, and South Africa is a financial services giant on the continent. Do you think that democratic systems inherently created or create better environment for doing business in Africa?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. First of all, I will start with what Nelson Mandela said about democracy, because it always pinches me when they even talk about the democracy thing in Nigeria and in Africa at large. Okay, he said that to be free is not just casting off the chain, but to also live a way and that respect and enhances other people's freedom. So this question, I have tried to understand whether are we really living it here in Nigeria? Is this something that we are practicing, taking Ghana as an example because of the last election and all that? Is it really what we are giving? Because if democracy is government, the government for the people, and also someone that represents the people, is those people, are they really representing people? That is what we look at, and then we'll now dive into question whether Africans have really played a major role in the democracy and taking the lead on what Africans stand for in democracy. Because if democracy is really for the rule of law, for transparency, for protection of human rights, and also citizen participation in democracy. So I don't know in this part of Africa whether we are really putting that in place because of what have happened, because past experience have really made a lot of persons not to pay too much attention on democracy or even have the freedom to express themselves the way they like. I know probably we are still growing, but at least with the number of years that we have spent in democracy, we should be looking at the good things that we say, yes, actually we're a democratic country, and some African countries as well. It's not only to tell that to Nigeria or probably Ghana or South Africa, but at least if it's say in the scale of preference, I know Ghana and South Africa, they are still leading on democracy when it comes as of today. Okay, so we don't want to talk about the other African countries because democracy in Africa is somehow a mess somehow. Okay, that's my own opinion though. So taking it whether we are really practicing what we preach about democracy, I will still give it 60 to 100 in the ratio. So because of what have happened, because of how people feel, but are we going to give up? No, we're not going to give up. We'll continue pushing. We'll continue letting our voice. We'll continue talking about it until probably when everything comes and becomes better. Okay, probably it might not be in our generation, but I know and I so much believe in Nigeria that we'll get there someday. Thank you.
All right. Looking at this present administration, even our president was one of the drivers of democracy. And in this present administration, he has gone for several business summits, telling international communities to come invest in Nigeria, that Nigeria is a lucrative country to invest in. So would you say that we are actually getting the dividends of democracy?
With all the reforms Mr. President is doing on infrastructure and everything, and some of his travelings to bring back some investors in Nigeria, I would say that we are still on the road to achieving that, but we have not gotten there yet because of probably people are not used to this kind of life. We are not used to this kind of reform. But if eventually with his manifesto and what he's doing and what he's saying and what he's promising people that probably in another 4 or 5 years that we are going to get that, what do? We have to just keep on talking about it and keep on hoping, because it's only hope that will keep people alive. Because if you don't hope that so and so will be good tomorrow, definitely you might die in depression. But when you have hope, you have life. When you have hope that probably the present government is going to really put down what they are saying in perspective and make it visible, and people, the locals, a person can just go to market and see things cheaper, that means that there is hope. I know that with his movements and with this his 2 years in office, with what he have said, it's just patience that we still need. But Nigerians will lack patience, and because we lack patience, people want the result now. Now, people want to plant corn and harvest it today. But with the analysis from experts, they are saying that probably Nigeria will be in the right path in no distance time. So I think we should still give them time. I think we should still give them more opportunity to achieve more, to also see how they can bring all these things so people can at least have one-on-one and say that, yes, I'm really benefiting from this democratic government, not just by mouth, not just by what Mr. President or his cabinet have said, but by the action, seeing it in the street that you can freely come and say your mind, and after that speech, nobody is coming for you or thereabout. That means, yes, we are returning back. And those international investors and some persons that is looking at Nigeria to also invest, I know they are looking at this, they are watching us, they are seeing, okay, can I go here after Mr. President come to my state or to my country to also tell me to come to Nigeria and invest? Is it really that I can go there and have my business established very well? So I think that we are at the right track, and I think it's just patience that we need. But Nigerians, we are impatient people. Everybody wants automatic result, and automatic result doesn't come that way. It comes with time. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Hilary. I really appreciated your assertion so far. Right now, we're in the age of social media. How do you think that we can use media sort of as a tool within the intersection of government and we, the people, so that there can be more coordination and so that, democracy, we can truly feel democracy in Nigeria right now?
I thank you so much for that question. Media has been a major tool for voice in Nigeria. Media, especially social media, anybody can talk to government through social media, whether you like it or yes, definitely it's going to get to them from one point or the other. Even if they are not listening, their aides are listening, even if they are not paying attention, some people in the government is paying attention. So they are listening. The main thing is to keep on pushing, is to keep on promoting, is to keep on making that space available. At the other time, they are saying that they want to do a bill that will regulate social media. For me, when I spoke about that earlier, I said it's not a good one. It's not going to be a good one. That means we're not going to be a democratic government again if we restrict the only place that people can easily talk. As far as that those normal media that we know, apart from social media, people connecting to government, connecting to their leader through social media, all the media like your own media house, you see that you cannot easily access government. But look at what is happening. Once something happened now, everybody have heard it. So because it's going to be a checkmate to a government that you are not doing well, probably thousands or millions of people or billions of Nigeria will see what you are doing. So what do? You say, let me do very well. Let me allow this to fly. Let me see how I can contribute better. But before, when it just few medias like yours and some media that is only, let's say, Radio Nigeria, or where people can easily just access information. That means they can easily be manipulated. But now, nothing can be manipulated like that again, because media are the really voice of people, because they paint the picture they want people to see. So if anything didn't pass through it very well, it might cause a chaos. And guess what? Because social media have made an ordinary man to be a democratic person, it serves as a hope for you to be like we are practicing democracy in Nigeria. But to truncate that, that means in the nearest future, we don't know where our country will be. Thank you so much.
Thank you. One of the reasons why I brought up the topic about media is because we all know that media is one of the biggest watchdogs when it comes to democracy and governance. You said something that it's hard to manipulate, but many government officials, anytime something happens, they'll say, oh, it's AI generated, oh, the youths are doing so and so and so. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
Eggs in any single thing, anything that you are doing, and you don't expect criticism or probably you didn't expect people to probably misunderstand it, or probably take it the way it will not be. Even the good ones, they might say that it is being manipulated. Not taking off that people also manipulate. People can pay influencers. Politicians can pay influencers to just go and talk about a particular thing. And when that particular narrative is being pushed to the people, you will see people acting that way, not knowing that probably they have gone to their back to go and collect money to talk about what they say. But when you come and meet them one on one, you will know that that person is not actually talking from his or her mind. That means the person has been compromised. But are we going to stop laying our voice on social media? No, because there is also a bad eggs, and we cannot separate bad eggs from the good eggs. Everything will go together, but until the harvest time, when the harvest time comes, you will know the real one. But media has been a very big tool in the adding the voice to democracy in Nigeria and in Africa at large.
All right, talking about bad eggs and good eggs, do you think that African democracy is actually doing enough to reduce corruption and, of course, promote investor protection?
African democracy as of today, I say it, in my own opinion, I say it is battling with corruption. It's not only in Nigeria, it's not only in our country, which is our primary place. But if you check all the African countries, apart from the case study we are using this morning, Ghana, Ghana, South Africa, and Nigeria, if you check other African countries, corruption have eaten deeply to the society in African community. Why did I say that? Even in transparency in government, someone might just prefer to just take it and spend for his and his family, and forgetting the good part that this particular thing might bring to the society. Having said that, are there still good leaders that have practiced good leadership? Yes. But sometimes the head might want to be very good, but the people that is working with him or her might want to truncate the system. Are we going to leave those ones apart? No, they are part of the system. We will continue laying our voices to make sure that probably 1 or 2 and 3 will I say, repent this time, but change their ways to know that whatever they are doing is going to affect the children, the unborn children. Take American, for instance. I was watching the 250 military parade of America. They are celebrating their 250 in existence, 250 years in existence. Imagine those people that started that did not put this system in place 250 years ago. Probably you and I have not been born by then. But the system keep on going. Do they have challenges? Yes, they do have challenges. But what happens challenges? When you have challenges, you find a better solution to it. So is there any hope for Africa? Is there any hope for Nigeria in, let's say, in corruption? Yes, there is hope. Because I know and I believe so much in Nigeria that in the nearest years to come, I know corruption might be a thing of the past. Even if we still have it, it will not be a little. Because I'm seeing Nigeria in a future where everybody wants to make an impact, not make money. Because it's easy to make money, but it's not easy to make an impact. So anytime you want to make an impact, it will definitely make you feel somehow bad. But if you are the person of the people that have the people's mind, you will see yourself making impact effortlessly. How did I say? Why did I say that? Nigeria will get better, whether we like it or yes. Nigeria, we're going to get better tomorrow, next tomorrow. We are still like a baby that is crawling. But because our impatience, because we want a immediate change of result. Although when you look at the society, when you look at the street, you will know that we don't have hope. But the easiest thing for a man to do is to have hope. When you don't have hope, you don't have life. But when you have hope, you have life, that it will be better tomorrow. So I inculcate if and everyone that is listening to my voice right now, there is going to be a hope. There is hope in Nigeria. I know the leaders, we are thinking that they are corrupt. Tomorrow they might want to do better. Tomorrow someone else will come and take over that office. Government is just step by step. It's just 4 years. After 4 years, another person enters. And we never can tell who is going to enter tomorrow. We never can tell who's going to enter after President Ahmed Tinubu. We never can tell. And probably when that person enters, it can add in transforming Nigeria and in transforming democracy, that we can easily walk out of the street and say that if this 1 million naira is here, that is 1 million naira that is spent for a particular project, not writing 1 million naira, but actual price for a particular project is 100 naira. That means that we have hope that tomorrow it will be better. Thank you so much.
All right, so I'd like us to look at shift our focus a bit. Now, in what ways do you think democratic transition opened doors for trade, investment, and business growth in Africa?
Okay, democracy transition opened a lot of ways. Especially this time, African is talking about coming together, the Pan-African, bringing everything together, that I don't need the visa to go to South Africa. I don't need a visa to go to Ghana, Ivory Coast, Gambia, and a whole lot. If people know that they are free, they can express themselves in any African country, business is going to skyrocket by 99%. Let me leave that 1% for improvement. If you know that if you go to South Africa and you establish your business, that the citizens of South Africa is not going to probably, or the government of South Africa is not going to try to put you in a box or to make you feel less of human being or less of Africa, it will definitely improve democracy in Africa. Bring it down to Nigeria. Even if we're not going to any other African countries, that government can do a rule that if you are a business person in Nigeria, you have access to XYZ. Government can give you this, government can give you that. And it's very transparent. I bet you Nigerian GDP will go and skyrocket. Small and medium businesses will skyrocket. A lot of things will change. People might not even be looking at the government again, because why is people clamoring and crying, government this, government that? It's because they are not doing anything. The business they are doing, government can bring a particular policy and smash it. And probably if you are in business yesterday, you are not guaranteed of being in business tomorrow because of what? Policies. But if we promote democratic system and allow people to express themselves and allow and make a rules that will bring people together, and they know if you say yes, your yes is yes as a government. If you say no, your no is no. You see that our government and the businesses will skyrocket drastically in Nigeria. Then when you now expand it to other African countries, people will do a lot of businesses. People will not have time for government, because government is playing their own role as a democratic system that is helping people to benefit as much as they can.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Akwa. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the program. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Just Africa. We're still discussing the dividends of democracy. Is democracy a gift or a sacrifice fought for? And we still have Dr. Hilary Akwa on via Zoom. Well,
all right, Dr. Hilary. Yeah, thank you for still staying with us. We've talked about the sacrifices that we've made to get here. Talking about democracy. Even here in Nigeria in 2020, we remember the EndSARS, we remember June 12, we remember everything. Do you think that with all the sacrifices that we've made, we've been able to really say this is what we've gotten from these sacrifices that bettered our democracy? And if not, what can we do better to really strengthen our democracy here in Africa and Nigeria in particular?
Okay, thank you so much. I know definitely you're going to ask that question, and when it comes to democracy, because people always look at that NSAS protest as probably people's voice was not heard, and it ended in chaos, and a lot of people. But I want to take this quote. You see, freedom is not worth having if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes. Our democracy is making mistakes, and a child that makes mistake, we're gonna correct itself and get better and become some person that he want to be tomorrow. Yes, that NSAS and other protests that have been happening in Nigeria have not been the way probably government that probably didn't pay attention. It will still come and go. People will die. People will lose their life. Sorry for use that word. People will lose their life, and still the particular challenge that we want to correct have not been corrected. But is government listening? Is it adding to the democracy? Yes. Is it adding to the voice of the people? Yes. I always tell people that one hit does not break a stone, but it adds to the effect of the breaking of the stone. Should we stop protesting? No. We should keep on adding our voice. We should keep on telling the government. When we keep on shouting it, when we keep on talking about it, definitely, I tell you, in the nearest future, somebody that will change the narrative will come. Will it happen? It might not happen in our lifetime. It might happen in our lifetime. But are we on the journey to a better democratic country? Yes, we are, in my own opinion. But taking it from the Nigerian perspective and looking at it that probably the government did not listen during the NSAS, they killed a lot of their citizens. Bring it back today. Is it day before yesterday? What happened in Benue? Will government close their eyes? Will people talk about it? Definitely, people will talk about it. Will government hear? Yes, they will hear. But there's a 1001 challenges that is going on every single day. Even you, Adebayo, is it Adebayo? Even of Nigeria tomorrow, there will be 1001 challenges that will be on your table. And when you don't pay attention to one, the other one is calling for attention. Will you say that you are not practicing a democratic government? No, because the Constitution of Nigeria allows us to practice democratic government. But are we on the process to get there? Yes, we are. And we're going to get there someday. American, I know some part of that we are looking that we copied most of the things that we are doing in America and England, that we copied most of the things that we are doing. Are they perfect? No. But what are you seeing? You are seeing the perfection. People are looking at them. But do we start together? No. When did they start? They have started a long years ahead. We didn't know the challenges they passed at the past. But is there going to be challenges? Is there going to be more? Yes. So we will prepare our minds that there's going to be more of those challenges. We'll start early to buckle our belt. We'll start early to have some changes. We'll start early to make an impact that will definitely not affect the citizen that is clamoring that their voice will be heard. Thank you so much for that.
Dr. Aqua, you made a statement and you made it twice in different times. You said it might not happen in our generation, it might happen. In your own view, what factors do you think might make it not happen right now in our generation?
Okay, why I so much believe in our country is that the technology is increasing day by day. The system is increasing day by day. People are getting wise. Take it back in the last 1 or 2 decades, people are not this wise in government. If you remember, the 2000 and probably 1999, it wasn't this way. 1988, it wasn't this way. But are we making improvements? Yes. So to add 20 years to the number of years you are today, probably when the changes might be coming, it might be very old, or probably you might finish your mission on Earth. Why am I saying probably might not be in our generation? There will be a Nigeria that people will refer as the giant of Africa again, that our children will be proud of. because we are on the process. It's us laying our voice right now that will bring that change that we want, that will bring that democracy that we want tomorrow. Are we on the right path? Yes, we're on the right path. But if you add probably 20 or 30 years to your age right now, probably might not be seeing the democracy that you clamor for. I know a question will rise during the Fela time, during 80s, people are still shouting about democracy when this thing will be fine. That time we don't have technology. Most people are not listening. We talked about media earlier. Media was not as active as today. People don't have voices. People don't have their own personal voice. Unless you go to probably media house to that they will grant you interview and you add your voice. But today, with your phone, you can reach Mr. President. Today, with your phone, you can reach the ADC to the government because they are also on social media. They are watching what people are saying. Probably the person that was supposed to be in charge neglected his duty. That's why he was not informed. But when the principal sees a particular change, he will know that he will call to order the person that was supposed to man that particular position. So are we on the right track? Yes, we're on the right track. But we'll give ourselves probably next 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years and see where we're going to be. So why I'm saying it might not be in our generation is because I believe so much in Nigeria that our children can transform things. They will be competing with the likes of the Americans as today, or the likes of the young chaps everywhere in the world, because the technology is improving, the world is changing, the world is adding a lot of change in the society. You can imagine what happened in India. In less than 5 minutes, the whole world have heard it, the news have carried it, everything is happening. So we are very hopeful that our country will be better. We are very hopeful that one day we're going to have a good governance that will change the narrative. And even if it didn't happen in our own time, we know that it will come and Nigeria will be a very great country. Thank you so much for that question.
Thank you, Mr. Hillary. Last question from me. I mean, it's been 60 years of we've gotten our independence from Britain. 60 years is a long time, and honestly, I appreciate when you say we must stay hopeful, because truly we must stay hopeful. There is no point if we lose hope, then there's no point in anything. So I agree with you that we must stay hopeful. But do you think that democracy, as we truly understand it right now, is African? Do you think that the concept of democracy actually works within the context of being African? Do you think it works?
It's because we have seen the democracy that is happening in Europe, in other worlds, which is not yet perfect. Is our democracy on a right track? I say it again, our democracy is on a right track. We'll be making mistakes and we'll be learning from our mistakes. We'll be improving and we'll say that this will happen. You can imagine democracy that used to happen on what day? I think May 27th have not been shifted to what? To June 12th. Because of what? Because of the real fathers of the democracy. Is that a change? Yes, there's a change. Is people listening? Yes, people, they are listening. People, they are paying attention. This is why it used to be May 27th, then now June 12th. That means there's a change. There is a movement. It might not be running, it might not be walking, it might be crawling, but is Africa on the right track? Africa is on the right track. When we are seeing challenges in other Western worlds, we want to make our own better. But sometimes, due to our leaders, when they travel out and they see those things that is coming from the Western world, they don't want to implement it immediately, because a lot of things that they're going to implement that before that one have to be implemented is like you have to count one before you count two. And if you don't do it that way, you will see that when you want to build on non-foundational ground, or probably on non-existing foundation, you are building to fail. So I feel why some of our leaders are not paying much attention the way the citizens want them to pay attention is that there's a whole lot of things to still be corrected at the roots. So once we get it corrected, once we get it right, African democracy, Nigeria as a case study, will have a voice. And that voice is not just to stop corruption, it's not just to kill accountability, transparency, peaceful transformation of power, and all that. We know all those things is going to come. We are looking at the 2027 election, general election, and a lot of people have started calling for it right now. The mistake we made in 2023 might not repeat itself. Even if it's going to repeat itself, it might not be as. Now, INEC said there were a lot of things. Now people are ready to hold INEC responsible. You say so and so. Are they going to bring another lies? We don't know. Are they going to bring another truth? We don't know. But definitely, we're going to learn from the past mistakes. If Nigeria can learn the aspect of having the hope that probably these things will be better, just lay your voice, just talk about it, just tell people, government, this is good. Or when you see yourself in position, because you don't know who's going to be president tomorrow. You might be, you that is talking to me, I might become the president of Nigeria tomorrow. And because you know.
All right, Dr. Hilary Apua, we have less than a minute to go. So I would like to ask you this question in rounding up, talking about learning from our past. So what reforms, in your opinion, what reforms are needed, in our democratic system to unlock a sustainable development? In less than a minute.
I call it reform that we needed for our democracy, just to encourage active citizenship to participate and encourage people to participate in government, because you might be outside the match and you know where they go will enter. You understand? But if you are in government, like you that we are talking this morning, you can become a minister tomorrow. You can become a president tomorrow. Who knows? You have talked about this. When you enter there tomorrow, add your own voice, make it positive. Okay, then you will talk more about important and promoting democratic institutions, where people will be taught about democracy, where people will say, this is what we stand for, and this is what we are going for. Then we inspire people to contribute to continual growth and consolidation of democracy. It is very, very important. If people don't talk about it, nobody's going to hear. Even when people enter there, if you enter there tomorrow, you might forget a lot of things. Your family member will be calling you that they need money for this. You say, please give you this contract, give him this contract. You see that even you that is talking about it today, if you become a minister tomorrow, what change are you going to make? If you that becomes a minister tomorrow, Adebayi, if you become a minister tomorrow, what change are you going to make? And me, if I become a minister or governor of my state tomorrow, what change am I going to bring on the table? So when you bring all these things together, you will call it a call for action, and we'll keep on promoting democracy the little way we can, and our country definitely someday will be better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hilary Apua, business consultant, digital expert, and real estate. It's so glad to have you. We really enjoyed your discussion this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to meet you guys. Thank you so much.
Welcome. And this is where we draw the curtains for today's episode of Just Africa. I'll leave you with some words. Democracy is not just about casting ballots. It's about building economies that work for all. Now, the journey from resistance to resilience continues, and Africa's brightest business future may still lie in strengthening its democratic institution. Thank you for joining us on Just Africa. Let's continue this conversation on all our social media platforms at Soak News Television. Please like, comment, and share. I am Olumide Shokoya.
And I'm Moyosori Adebi. Thank you so much for joining us on Just Africa this lovely morning. Have a great day ahead.